Let's talk best receiver in the draft with two former great receivers, playmaker and key. Marvin Harrison Jr. is obviously the consensus #1 receiver, though he was criticized this week by scouts who wondered why he didn't run at the Combine or at his pro day. Competitors compete, said one scout, and because he appeared to take the pre-draft process a little too casually. So, Michael, Hall of Famer that you are, which receiver would you take first?
There's a lot of rhetoric that's been pushed about and a lot of mess that's been thrown around. For me, bar none, I'm taking Marvin Harrison Jr. as the #1 wide receiver in this draft because he is the #1 wide receiver in this draft. You can tell me all you want about, well, we didn't see him run the 40. I saw him run by enough people. There's nothing on a football field from the receiver position that Marvin Harrison cannot do. And he does everything very well. He's the total package at wide receiver. You want to put him in the red zone, he's a great jump ball guy to go and get you touchdowns. You want to run him across the middle of the field, he shows that kind of courage to make plays across the middle of the field in an immediate area. He goes deep. He's everything. His ability to transition is insane to be at that size and being able to turn and come in and out of cuts like he is. He's great at it. There's a lot of noise about the Malik Neighbors and the Rome Oduzze and the great, good receivers. But I'm not taking them over Marvin Harrison. And I'm not taking him just because Marvin Harrison didn't do all the things I wanted him to do and work out at the Combine. Just not doing it. I like
Although you have said about you.
I love you to compete. Okay, I want you competing.
You would compete. You would run.
I want you to compete. And I would measure a man on how he handles those situations. I want an alpha male. An alpha male that comes out here and shows everybody I'm the alpha. Now, Marvin Harrison, he said, I'm not going to do that. He didn't want to compete against those other receivers. Maybe he's saying, I'm the best, I don't feel a need to. But what he did want to compete against was this whole system, the whole way they go about things. And he's saying, all that I've done on my tape and on my film, all I'm doing is giving you an opportunity to knock it down by coming in. Now, Marvin Harrison can do that. I don't suggest to many people to try this. You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean, Keith? I don't suggest anyone else try that. He did it. He's the best receiver. Neighbors, I love, but a lot of those plays we watched him make come from the slot. And a lot of times in that slot, he had like 991 yards in the slot. Scored a lot of those touchdowns. 12 of his touchdowns, 991 exactly. 12 TDs from the slot. Marvin Harrison was an outside receiver. That means you're going against team's best cornerback. The team said, this is the guy we have to stop, and he was unstoppable. I'm taking Marvin Harrison, bar none, first pick wide receiver, Keith, if you ask me.
Okay, you good now?
I'm just telling you. I'm just saying, yeah, I'm good. I like all of them. I like Rome, I like Malik, but Marvin Harrison is the best.
Yeah, it's simple. It's not. Michael kind of summed a lot of it up. It's simple. It is Marvin Harrison Jr., bar none.
By the way, you got to meet him and
I know. I play, obviously, me and his dad played together, came out the same draft. He's bigger than his father by far.
By far.
Okay.
By far.
And when you look at his ability to transition,
that's the key.
In certain routes and do certain things, I'm not going to knock other receivers. I want them all to get their money. But he is at a different level. Now, when you start talking about the criticism, look, man, that's what they do. The scouts, they criticize it. This anonymous NFL wide receiver coach, he clearly doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Clearly. Because if you think Malik Neighbors is better than Marvin Harrison, smaller #1, as Michael talked about, predominantly in the slot. So what happens when you're inside, Skip, you are at an advantage on the defense, which means that I'm either going to get the third corner, I'm going to get the safety, the strong safety, which essentially is the linebacker, or I'm going to get a combination of the strong safety and the third corner trying to vice me. And I'm going to be able to run right through that in college football. Or I'm getting a linebacker because they stayed regular personnel and didn't sub out. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it can get dangerous in there.
That's fine. It's dangerous.
Well,
but here's
not as much anymore. Not as much because they can't hit
not
you
as much anymore. Yeah, you're right.
And they can't chuck you and push you when you're running across the middle like the old days. And so what Malik Neighbors did was a lot. He had off coverage a lot. He ran a lot of 7 routes and then post corner to the post. And he just outran everybody.
And here's what I'm going to say.
12 touchdowns from that slot, only 2 outside.
Yeah, 900 yards, 12 touchdowns, only 2 outside. Here's what I would say when you start comparing Marvin Harrison Jr. to Malik Neighbors. Now, again, I want everybody to get their money.
And both are good receivers.
I want them to all get their money and get drafted as high as they can. But I, as a personnel guy,
I understand.
I can find Malik in a lot of places in the draft, a lot of positions in the second and third. Who's the best wide receiver in the slot in the National Football League?
Right now?
Right now.
And then I love Justin Jefferson coming out.
But Justin play, he move around.
But you got quite a few guys.
No, just give me one.
I got Keenan Allen, I think.
No, just give me one.
Right, Tyreek Hill.
So here's why I asked you that. I'm gonna give you one. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
He's the best.
He just got paid over $100 million. You know what round he went in? He went in the 4th round. So my whole point is, I don't have to take a small, fast, quick receiver. Now you want to go to the best receiver?
Quick point of order.
That's a good point, Chief.
CeeDee Lamb does enjoy lining up in the slot.
But wait, here, let me get there, though. Skip.
He does great in the slot.
So when I look at a guy like Tyreek Hill, who's one of the top wide receivers, top 2 in the National Football League, he can play outside, inside, wherever we move. But he started off as a special teams guy that went later in the rounds now he's so I don't need to.
He had off-field.
Yeah, but he was never going in the first round as a top 10 pick, even when he didn't have off-the-field issues. So my whole point of this is, now I get to your guy in CeeDee Lamb that I can compare Marvin Harrison Jr. to. I draft him, much like myself, as the #1 overall receiver. I played outside. And when we needed to move me inside on third downs, we moved me inside on third down. But they knew when I got outside them numbers, I was still going to be an animal. You treat that the same way as CeeDee Lamb. When CeeDee Lamb needs to line up on the outside edge of the numbers, cool. If I need him to go eat on the linebacker's head inside, I'll move him inside.
You do.
I get the best of both worlds with Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't know that Malik Neighbors, 900 yards, 12 touchdowns, and predominantly in the slot. I don't know that he can play outside on a full-time basis.
Quick point of order to defend Malik Neighbors. He got 35 balls in the slot and 37 outside. So he can do some outside. But I'm with you. He's born to play in the slot. First. He's first in the slot. He's tiny.
So for me to go that high and take that type, I can't do that.
Right, and y'all see the play that you're showing right here, him in the slot, and he's doing that against the safety. Now, I'm going to tell you, here, which was interesting, I thought about this when you were talking now, that's where the league is going. Now, the question is almost going to flip pretty soon, like, okay, you're great outside, but can you play in the slot? And if you'd asked me that, I was going to say no. Now, Marvin Harrison, he has played in the slot.
Yes.
But when you start talking about the top receivers now in the National Football League, because if you, in this league, you sit outside and just stay outside, they get a bead on you.
You got to be able to be interchangeable.
You got to be
Jamar
interchangeable.
Chase can go inside.
So it's the question more of what Malik Neighbors doing, or are we got to start saying, well, we got to figure out Marvin Harrison, like what you just said, can get inside and do the work inside.
But he can do that work.
And he can, and he's done some work in the slot.
He's done it.
You know, he had almost 355 yards and 5 touchdowns out the slot, so he can do it too. But yeah, that's an interesting thought. The slot is getting so important to the #1 receiver. Yeah. The question really is, can I truly have a #1 now that can't play the slot? You know what I'm saying? Because like I couldn't. You could. But I don't know if you could do that and still make that the #1 guy.
All right. Allow me to go off the board a little bit.
Scared.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't scared of anything.
I mean, he didn't want to get hit.
I'm going to go off the board, maybe off the reservation here, because I agree with everything you said about Marvin Harrison. But if I want to take the best receiver in the draft, I'm going to go with the hybrid receiver. And I've told you guys both this before, and I'm going to triple down on it right here.
I'm not taking Jack Bowers. I mean,
Brock Bowers.
Brock
You don't even know his first name. Brock,
Jack,
you watch him?
Jack Bowers is the 24 guy, man.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right.
I've told you before, Brock Bowers will turn out to be the best catcher of the football and runner with the football in the draft when all is said and done. And I've said this before, and then I saw Kirk Herbstreit say this morning on ESPN, Brock Bowers is the best player in the draft. And I can't go that far because he's not better than the quarterbacks. But to me...
He's talking about physical gifts.
Hey, this kid, he leaves... Think of what he did. He leaves Napa, California. His father was an All-American center at the University of Utah State, he was. His mother was an All-American softball player. So he leaves Napa, California, because he wants to go to the South, where football is religion, and he wants to play at the NFL pipeline, which is the University of Georgia. And he steps on the field against Alabama as a true freshman and catches 10 footballs. And I'm saying, whoa, that's a bad boy right there, because he plays 1,000 miles an hour under control. Every game I watch, he's 1,000 miles an hour completely under control. And that's hard. You don't find that very often. And he can burst through contact. They ran him on reverses. What's that?
That word, burst.
Burst?
That word. Woo. That word. I saw him do remember I told you guys, when you watch Tyreek Hill flip backwards, you can see the power in Tyreek Hill flip. And it's almost like he flips up here and then just falls back down to his feet.
Yeah.
I saw that kid doing the flip. I said, "Ooh, that reminds me of Tyreek Hill." That tells you the explosion he has. He's the
best tight end. But I ain't taking
he's a hybrid, but he doesn't.
I can't do it.
He's not much of a blocker.
He's not putting his feet.
He's the best hybrid tight end, but I'm not taking him ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr.
It's against your religion to think of a hybrid tight end as a receiver, but he is.
Yeah, no, it's not against my religion. It's against my religion to take him over what I know I see.
All right, I know what I see, and I'm on record. Just remember I said this, okay?
All right.
All right, and see how high he goes.
You've been on record a lot for a lot of different things that didn't work out.
No, that's not true. Show me one. How many?
The Dallas Cowboys, I'll just start there.
I don't have any objectivity when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. I'm like this guy.
Man, you're going on record good things. Don't let Key play with you on that, Skip.
He still owes me 5 dinners, but that's okay.
Come on, man. You can't try to go back.
You and LeBron, y'all both be hating.
I'm on record on this team also. The Thunder won the West. Now can they